All right, welcome to the Circuit Podcast. I'm Alec Kinsky, joined by Alex Karamanos. We're here for a bit of a special edition of the podcast, releasing some of the EYBL awards. EYBL is currently in a full sprint, Alex, as you know. We've been working at a full sprint right alongside them for about the past week now. How you holding up amongst all the action?
Hey, it's really busy, as you know, doing it a lot longer than I have been, but very busy, but also very enjoyable at the same time, watching some great basketball and doing some awesome media coverage from our part.
Yeah, I think in normal years we would have write-ups and have a breakdown, but they're already playing Peach Jam as we speak. So we're going to recap the past 6 days, which included 7 games for most teams, which resulted in quite a few accolades that we awarded. So we'll kick it right off. As I said, 7-game schedule allowed guys to kind of build up a bit of a resume. And the MVP is from ProSkills. Cason Wallace really did a bit of everything while in North Augusta with his teammates, and they racked up a 7-0 record. He averaged 16 points, 7 rebounds, almost 6 assists a game. He was really just their leader in kind of every sense of the word. Alex, what'd you think of Cason? I know we've seen him a lot this summer.
Yeah, we have seen him a lot this summer, but I think he just was on a whole different level this past week. I loved how he changed the pace of the game. He would get a rebound himself. He would slow it down sometimes, or sometimes he would push the break. Just a really good high IQ player. He makes the right decisions. He never does too much. And, yeah, he did it all for this ProSkills team.
Yeah, I think you see what preparation can do, and Jeff Webster obviously, has a pedigree of having his teams ready for this event, and they're clearly ready to go. I think they're about to move to 8-0 while we're recording this, going 1-0 in Peach Jam. We're going to move right along. Cason was tremendous this week, as was our offensive player of the session. This was a difficult pick. It ultimately came down to who was most efficient, which was Shaedon Sharpe of UPLAY Canada. He really came in and shot the cover off the ball, shot 46% from 3. I think he hit 18 threes, averaged almost 22 a game. UPLAY, I think UPLAY surprised some people, but they had a pretty good three-headed monster in the backcourt with Josiah Davis and DJ Jackson also playing great as well. But yeah, Shaedon was great. He's up to, I think, number 8 now in the ESPN rankings, and he certainly backed up his ranking with probably the best offensive performance of his young career over a stretch of games. Defensive player of the session. I know this is one of your favorite players in the class. He's been ascending, about as high as he can get, up to number 3. Alex, take us through the defensive player of the session, Dereck Lively.
Yeah, so Dereck Lively was outstanding on defense through the first week. But his overall stat line was great, too. He averaged 8.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds. But we gave him defensive player of the session because he averaged 5 blocks a game. He stands at 7'2". He's got those long, lanky arms. He gets his hands on basically everything that comes near the rim. Besides his defense, I watched him in a Spooky Nook at the Hoop Group event. His shot from 3 has improved tremendously over the course of the high school season and going into grassroots.
I think that's all about, his opportunity to shoot it too. Team final lets him shoot it, but he's really dependent on for his defense, and he was about as strong an anchor as you can get this weekend. Breakout player of the session. One of my favorite awards. This is usually hard to pick as well. A lot of breakout guys. We'll have an all-breakout team. We'll rattle through in a bit here. But our breakout player of the session goes to another ProSkills player, KyeRon Lindsay. Lindsay joined ProSkills in late June. It's kind of their missing piece, it seems. He averaged 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, almost 2 blocks a game. Really high-energy guy, runs the floor well, 6'8". Shoots it well, has a good mid-range game, left-handed. He's, kind of the whole package, and picked up an Oklahoma State offer as well. Moving on, top underclassmen. Top underclassmen in the event, feel like should be relatively obvious based on, numbers. It goes to DJ Wagner. You look at, he's the #1 recruit in the country. He has the numbers to back it up. Average 18 points, almost 4 rebounds, almost 4 assists a game. Does a little bit of everything for his New Jersey Scholars team, and is a leader on the court. And it's impressive to see how hard he competes. Best finish happened right in front of me, which was one of the most entertaining games I saw. We gave it to TJ Caldwell with his and one finish over the aforementioned DJ Wagner and the New Jersey Scholars. Wagner had just hit a 3 to what we thought was going to send the game into overtime, and TJ had a really nice drive, picked up contact, got the roll, and Drive Nation ended up picking up a pretty big win. Best dunk. Alex, I know we got this one up for a vote right now. It's between Christian May, Jordan Walsh, Otega Owe, and Dylan Mitchell. We couldn't pick between the 4. All 4 are impressive dunks, so feel free to cast a vote on that online. We'll move right along into first team. Alex, I know another one of your favorite guys definitely played the best stretch of basketball of his life before he heads to Oak Hill in the fall. Judah Mintz of Team Durant.
Yeah, I watched Judah Mintz back in at Kansas City, and I didn't know too much about him at the time. But now everybody should know who Judah Mintz is. He is an absolute dog on both sides of the ball. Averaged 22.4 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Just the intensity that he plays with. It doesn't matter who he's going up against. Judah Mintz is going hard. And he is such a skilled offensive player. I don't think a lot of people used to really talk about that.
No, here's what's crazy, Alex, is if I saw he had 0 points in a game, I would still play Judah Mintz because of what he provides on defense. So the fact that he's providing 22, 3, and 2 on offense or on the offensive side of the ball is, I think, absurd for Team Durant.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's super good.
Next on the list goes to Shaedon Sharpe, who is the offensive player of the session. We just talked about him. Certainly worthy of a first-team honor. Following him, Bryce Griggs. Speaking of guys that have played their best basketball of the spring and summer, Bryce Griggs is doing that as we speak with Terrence ARCENEAUX and Chris Marshall. Kind of led a 3-headed attack for JL3, and Griggs was, his ability to create and play make, it was on full display, and I think it's going to continue to be as we head into Peach Jam for the 4-3 John Lucas sponsored JL3 Elite. After that, we got Cam Kraft. This is your first look at him live, I think, Alex. Cam was terrific for Mean Streets. They went 7-0. Definitely a contender offensive player of the session as well.
Yeah, we keep talking about guys playing their best basketball this past week. Cam Kraft 100% played his best basketball of the summer this past weekend. He averaged 20 points per game and to go along with 6.2 rebounds. Probably one of the best shooters that I saw last week, whether that was off the screen, off the dribble, or just off the catch. He was knocking it down from everywhere. Going to Xavier, he committed there a couple of weeks ago. I think that's a great fit for him. Cam Kraft is a baller. He, like I was talking about with Judah Mintz too, he doesn't back down from anybody. I know he was guarding Amani for a little bit, and he was right up on him. He didn't care. That was Amani Bates in front of him, and that was his best scoring game. I think he went for 27 against Bates in the big-time win. Yeah,
the whole team was impressive, and they're definitely a contender to win it all. Next up, Fletcher Lawyer. Indy Heat Gym Rats kind of always bring a competitive team to Peach Jam. Fletcher has played his tail off right now, averaging 20 and 5. Really good playmaker, really good at getting his teammates in the right spots as well, and competes on defense. Has good size too at 6'3". So younger brother of Foster Lawyer. Fletcher's heading to Purdue. Next up, JALEN DUREN. Some say #1, others say #2. It doesn't really matter. One of the best players in the world that's currently not in the NBA. Suits up for team final. Kind of did what he does, right? Averaged 14 points, shot 55% from the floor, 8 boards. Kind of everywhere on defense, says 1.7 blocks a game, but he's contesting shots all over the place, and just the physicality of him is impressive. And he really enjoyed himself. A nice start to Peach Jam. Speaking of, Jaden Bradley, the IMG product was really, really, really good. I got to see him in a couple games. He was just dynamic with the ball in his hands. What'd you get to see from him?
I just loved his leadership out there, honestly. He put up 20.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and almost 2 steals. But the thing that caught my eye the most is just him directing traffic for his team, setting the offense up, not pushing the pace too much. He just does everything right Jaden Bradley does. And then on top of that, he's an elite scorer, an elite rebounding guard, and an elite passer. So Jaden Bradley is definitely one of my favorites from last week.
Yeah, they look like a pretty cohesive unit, and star power, I guess. CP3 said definitely had more in the past. So it's interesting to see how they're winning this year, and Bradley's getting it done. Jalen HOOD-SCHIFINO, another product of a Florida prep school, Montverde Academy product for Team Thad, one of my favorite players in the country. Averaged almost 17 points, six rebounds, 4 assists, shot almost 50% from the floor. Team Thad went 4-1. They're going to be a contender for the Peach Jam here, and he's just a really, really dynamic point guard who's excelled in his role, being able to be on the ball with Team Thad. Terrance ARCENEAUX, we mentioned him before, teammate of GRIGGS on JL3. Oh man, he's really fun to watch. Competes really hard. Doesn't really back down from anyone. Has stretches the floor. Has good size to him. Good length. Good wingspan. He's a terrific looking prospect, and his production's turning into winning for JL3, which is impressive. And then last on first team, Kyle FILIPOWSKI. I know Alex, you'd seen him a couple times. Talk about his progression, what you saw from him.
Yeah, his progression has been outstanding. I truly believe that Kyle FILIPOWSKI is a pro. He's 6'10", 6'11", and he's bringing the ball up the court. He's dribbling the ball with so comfortable when dribbling the ball. I don't think one part of his game that a lot of people talk about is his passing. I remember when I was in Spooky Nook, he takes the ball up the court, splits the defenders with a spin move, and then throws a behind the back pass to a guy in the corner right in a shooting pocket. So, but yeah, like I said, when I first started talking about Kyle, he's a pro, and he's going to help lead this team, this New York Renaissance team, to hopefully a Peach Jam championship. They definitely have a chance to do that.
Yeah, they're they're in the top 5 as far as teams that are most likely to bring home that crown. Moving on to second team here, Eric Daly is going to lead off second team for the Georgia Stars. He's playing his first grassroots ball of the summer, and really came in style, averaged 17 points, nearly 4 rebounds. Georgia Stars went 4-3, got their way into Peach Jam. And Eric is a kind of a blend, guard, forward skills, really physical. Shoots it well, and and is aggressive, and he's definitely a welcome fit on the Georgia Stars rotation. Next up, who was 1B for offensive player of the session and breakout player of the session, and quite frankly, if they would have had a little bit more success in the win-loss column, I think he would have had it, is KEYON MENIFIELD. Led the event in scoring at 22.6 points per game, shot 47% from 3. Grabbed nearly 6 boards a game. He was the reason the family was competitive in the games they were competitive in, and he has offers kind of coming across the board right now. So interesting to see how Menifield's exploding on the recruiting trail, and we'll see if what other high majors he starts to pick up as he plays in the Peach Invitational with the family. Big Vince, IWUCHUKWU from Drive Nation, playing his best basketball. He played great at Pangos. Alex, you walked away impressed with him.
Yeah, I know we keep repeating ourselves saying this, but Vince easily played his best basketball of the summer this past weekend. 16.4 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks. It seemed to me every game that I watched Vince playing that he was always around the ball. If a shot went up, he was always the first one to tip it, to get a tip in or get an offensive rebound. Set really good screens. That's another part of his game that I really liked from this past week. He set good screens and rolled hard, got position on his defender.
Yeah, he has to do that for that rotation too. Only 7 guys right now, adding an 8th, and Liam McNeely, who's coming up from the 2024 team. It's going to be really impressive to or it's going to be, he's really impressive. It's going to be really interesting to see how he fits in with that group. I know we got a couple guys to mention on them a little later on. Alex KARABAN, another wing on the list, standout guy from Expressions. He's the reason they're qualified for Peach Jam for sure. Alex, you've seen him a couple times, I know.
Yeah, I've watched Alex a lot this summer, and it feels like every time that I watch him, he gets better. He averaged 17.2 points, 6.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 1.4 blocks this past week. He's just a do-it-all type of guy. He's real scrappy. Doesn't say much on the court, but he lets his game speak for himself. He's 3-level scorer, standing at about 6'6", 6'7". He can bring his smaller defenders in the post and be really efficient from basically all 3 levels on the court.
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities in the next guy on our second team, Brandon Miller, 5-star. For Brad Beal Elite, he certainly earned his spot on this team, averaged 12.4 points, 8 rebounds a game. He had one down game, but other than that, Brad Beal went 5-2. He can defend 1 through 4. He can probably defend a 5 too. Super versatile. Has the reach on him. He just he looks the part when you see him. And he had himself an impressive weekend. As did his teammate. Might as well jump to him, Nick Smith. Nick Smith Jr. was great in the backcourt for Brad Beal Elite. Brought a scoring punch to average 16, 4, and 3. Played really, really, really well for Brad Beal Elite, and they certainly enter Peach Jam as one of the contenders. JJ Starling for the City Rocks was terrific in their comeback win over the Family. Really scores the ball about as anyone in the country. Playmaker, works well with his teammates, developing on defense. Think he's going to be able to guard point guard soon effectively, and he was certainly impressive. Next on second team was our underclassman of the session we talked about earlier, DJ Wagner. Looked great. Next up, teammate of Judah Mintz. Probably the first time he's been referred to as that because he's a 5-star recruit in his own right, Dereck Whitehead. You look at him, people think lottery pick almost immediately. He's pretty mature, ahead of his years off the court. On the court, averaged 15 and 5. Team Durant played really well. Alex, you've kind of been tracking him all summer.
Yeah, Dereck is a freak athlete. He plays way above the rim, continuously showing me improvements in his jump shot. I know I interviewed him out in Kansas City, and he said that's all he's been working on, and it's been shown, especially a shot off the dribble he was telling me.
Yeah.
Great rebounding guard, plays hard on defense, and I believe he's only 16 right now. I think he's got a late birthday, so playing against guys a little bit older than him, but he has definitely been one of the best players that I've watched.
Yeah, and kind of transitions nicely into our last guy on second team. One of my favorite guys I saw this week was Cam Whitmore, Team Mello. My first kind of introduction into him. I've seen how other people have spoken about him, but plays with physicality, super athletic, kind of everywhere, efficient. I felt like he even shot better than his 52% from the floor says, because every time I watch him, seems like the ball was going in. Team Mello qualified for Peach Jam, big-time player, big-time prospect. Moving on to third team, Dior Johnson. Vegas Elite fell short of qualifying, but he was terrific across the board, competes as well as anyone in the class. Alex, I know you're a big fan.
Yep, Dior, besides the fact that he's a 5-star and that he's one of the best players on the court every time he steps on there, I think the thing that caught my eye the most about Dior's was his body language. His team struggled a little bit. Everybody knows that, but he was one of the only guys on his team that I saw with positive body language when stuff started to go wrong. He's high-fiving, he's clapping, and he's still playing hard. And he is easily one of the most skilled point guards in the class, and I believe that he is a pro also. He's got a pro-like game already.
Yeah, Oregon will be lucky to have him for a year. DJ Jackson, next on the list. Teammate of Shaedon Sharpe on UPLAY, was terrific. Could have easily got breakout player of the session. Averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He was dynamic. He knew how to get to where he could score, and He's pretty crafty. He doesn't wow you with any athleticism. Well, he has athleticism. I'm saying he doesn't wow you with it. He's pretty crafty with it. It was nice to get an introduction into DJ's game, and he's got offers coming in pretty frequently now. Guy that doesn't need offers, Doug McDaniel, played great for Team Takeover. He committed to Michigan, just had a hard-fought loss, I think, while we're recording here to ProSkills. Certainly worthy, the floor general for Team Takeover. Malik Renault next on the list. Alex, I know you got to see one of Malik's breakout games. They didn't qualify for Peach Jam, but Malik was definitely worthy of an honor here.
Yeah, Malik played great. He averaged 20 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. He's really he's a lefty, and he was showing me that he could make that mid-range shot from the foul line area. He was finishing over each shoulder. Great footwork, great hands, runs the floor well. Knight Riders couldn't have asked for any more from Malik Renault, and he really, really impressed me.
Yeah, two of the next guys on the list, two of my favorite guys that I've seen this summer. Taurus Reed from Mocan. Mocan went 5-2. Kind of ho-hum for Mocan. They're always kind of doing that. He had 13 points, 7 boards a game in their 7 games. Taurus lost a bunch of weight, looks in tremendous shape as a pillar on defense, looks great next to Felix Akpara. So you got a pair of twin towers there. Next up is Butta Johnson for Boo Williams. Was scoring the ball like a professional, to put it simply. The Boo Williams coaching staff speaks very highly of Johnson, what they think he can be as a prospect, and he was certainly a needed scoring punch for Boo Williams, who looked great. Jordan Walsh, one of our dunk of the session candidates, up to number 12 in the ESPN rankings, 5-star, certainly backed it up. Kind of did a little bit of everything, Alex.
Yeah, Jordan Walsh, another guy that every time that I've watched him this summer, he continues to get better. He's 11.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2 steals per game. He can guard 1 through 4. And then on offense, he's also a 3-level scorer. He's really shown me that he's been working on his jump shot a lot. He's a freak athlete. Like you said, he's up for dunk of the week. And I just love how hard he goes on the glass, both on offense and defense. And he's continuously showing me that he's becoming more of a leader on this team. He's getting a lot more vocal than we have usually seen with Jordan, and I really like that.
Yeah, and I think he could have easily given this to TJ Caldwell as well. He's mentioned in our honorable mention, but he played great too. Drive Nation played great as a team. Amari Abram, next on third team, representing Houston Hoops. Hoops went 5-2. Abram might be the best on-ball defender in the country. Averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Coaching staff loves him. I don't think he can be rattled. It wears the same expression all the time. We've seen him this spring and summer. He's been great. Jaquan Sanders, we might as well split this award between Jaquan Sanders and Mark Armstrong because they're equally important. But we felt like Jaquan, kind of had all the pieces to his game this weekend rolling, and he's definitely a floor leader along with Armstrong for that New Heights team. Very, very, very good New Heights Lightning team that is going to be a contender at Peach Jam for sure. And then rounding out the third team is Dylan Mitchell, also a contender on the dunk of the session. Mitchell, when he's aggressive, there's not many players in the country that can do what he does on both sides of the floor. I'm really impressed with him, and he's basically the reason him and Bruce Thornton and a couple of the pieces that they should scare teams as they head into Peach Jam, because they kind of got all the pieces rolling at the right time. And if Mitchell's aggressive, they're a completely different team. So we're going to move to all breakout quick. I'm just kind of going to rattle through these quick. Alex, feel free to, kind of throw your hand up if you want to, touch on any of these guys. We'll start with Chris Marshall, the third of the three-headed monster, JL3. Averaged 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, was everywhere on defense. Averaged nearly 2 steals, 2 blocks. Super athletic player, football prospect as well. A lot to like about Marshall. Bryce Sensabaugh, starting to get high major offers. I think he just got offered by Florida. Plays for E1, T1. Had a couple monster games, averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, really a much needed scoring punch for E1T1. Nick Martinelli, Mean Streets, they went 7-0. He averaged 15.6, shot 90% from the line. Kind of 6'8", stretch 4, underwhelming when you look at him, but he certainly has a lot of game. Kind of same thing goes for Luke Hunger, great post player, prospect for BABC. Averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, shot over 50% from the floor, kept them competitive in a couple games. And he goes to Northfield Mount Hermon. He'll certainly have a big 2021-22 high school season. Desmond Claude, point guard for Expressions Elite. I was a big fan of him. Got extended minutes, was a contender for, the all-event team as well. Looks good next to KARABAN. I think he's one of the more underrated guards in the country. Elijah Kennedy, recently reclassed, going to Combine Academy for Boo Williams. Averaged 11 points, almost shot 50% from the floor. Was contributing everywhere. Coaching staff loves him, plays big minutes for Boo Williams, and I know he can be relied upon. Getting back to Drive Nation, Chase Ross was a terrific addition for Drive Nation in June. Took a while for that, entire 17U rotation to come together, but once it has, they've been terrific. He averaged 14 points, over 50% from the floor. Left-handed guard, shot 38% from the 3. Gives them a different aspect and different weapon alongside Walsh and IWUCHUKWU and Caldwell. Danilo Jovanovic for Phenom University. Phenom qualified, got one of the at-large bids. He's a big reason why. Averaged 14, 7, and 2. Alongside Seth Trimble, they kind of need that second option. John Lovelace has been good for him too, but Jovanovic, 6'8", can shoot it. Going to be a high major prospect. A big hit for one of high major programs. Kanye Cleary already hit for a high major program. He's the 9th guy on the all breakout team. Kanye Cleary is going to Penn State, and they got to be love what they're seeing out of him. He's a dynamic point guard on the smaller side, but he competes. He's a perfect guy you can build around in college and rely upon to be a floor general. Same thing goes for DJ Smith. He's an unsigned senior, 2021, playing for ProSkills. Only triple-double the event so far. Oh, man, it's a perfect guy to end on, maybe you to touch on, Alex, because DJ was one MVP at our Circuit League event, averaged 9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, talking all the time. I think he's going to be a terrific pickup for a college.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but these colleges need to get on this kid as soon as he is so good. I love watching him play, and I know Jeff Webster loves talks very highly of him, and I just hope he keeps playing the way he is because it's so exciting to watch, and he's real, real good.
For sure. We'll end with just quickly our all underclassmen team. It's usually 10 deep for each regular season session, but honestly, there's a lot less underclassmen playing 17U this year. So there's 5 names. DJ Wagner obviously makes it for being the underclassman of the session and second teamer. His teammate, Mackenzie Mbako for New Jersey Scholars, averaged 15 points, 4 rebounds, stretches the floor, long on defense. He's, they're a young team, and they're only going to get better as they gain this experience. Bryson Warren moved up from Mocan, 16s to 17s, looks the part for Mocan right now, averaging 12, 3, and 3. 5-star recruit considered after a strong spring and summer, and he's making himself feel comfortable in that lineup. Elliot Cadeau, one of our favorite prospects for the New Heights Lightning, dynamic point guard, 6 foot, 6'1", only going to get better, considered a 5-star kind of across the board. Same with Simeon Wilcher, who's the point guard for the Wrens. Doesn't really need to score the ball, definitely can if he needs to, but he has a really talented supporting cast around him, and excited to see how Wilcher kind of continues to grow with his alongside his elders. So wanted to rattle through those quickly. We'll have an article up, and we'll be tweeting off and posting who won the awards, and then we'll get right back into our Peach Jam coverage. So Alex, thanks for joining me here, and we'll catch you soon.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to this week at Peach Jam. Going to be another good one.
Sounds great, man. We'll talk to you soon.